Hoi! And welcome to Lunch Therapy, Interview Friday. I am very excited to announce that the guest today is my idol, Michael J. Cielaff. When he is on stage, everything I see I laugh. Bet he's never heard that one before. You know, sometimes people mistake me for him on the street. They say, "Excuse me, are you Michael J. Cielaff?" And I say no, but if he looks like me, he's one lucky guy. Hoi hoi hoi. They usually run away after that. Anyway, let's get into this thing called lunch therapy, with your host Joel Marshall.
All right, everybody, welcome to Lunch Therapy, where you get your therapy and you get your improvisation and you get your comedy and you get your escape from the news cycle. Everybody knows what's going on in the outside the lunch therapy world. We can leave that at the door, do a little bit of exploration into ourselves, into some cool people, like Michael J. Cielaff, who's here today. He's in the green room. He's hanging out with Boney. Boney, can you prep him on how the show goes? Okay. Yeah, because we got a little bit of a late start today. Equal means equal says he's so cool looking, and that he is, and we're going to talk about a little bit more about that when we get him on the show. I'm going to bring Bloss on right now. Bloss, are you ready for prime time? You have a shirt on? You have a, yeah, I can't even hear you. Oh, there we go. Oh my God. Bring him on. He's looking at his phone. Boy, some good stuff out there.
Oh, hey.
Hey, you know, there was a quote on Instagram from Boney, and he said, if you haven't seen Lunch Therapy, you're probably watching something else.
You know, he's prolific.
He really is. I like the way you looked at me like, I don't know what you just said. That look, you know that look, because you know that look, because I get that look on my face a lot with guests. You know, when
Boney speaks or when I speak.
Where Boney distracts me, and then the guest is talking about like the day they lost their dog or whatever, and then I come back and I'm like, ha ha, that's hilarious. And they're like, no, it's actually not.
Yeah, the look.
And then there's that awkward silence. Yeah, so we're gonna have some of those today. Hey, I got some cool stuff at the beginning of the show. For those of you that may have never seen Lunch Therapy before, I always have to explain the beginning of the show because we breathe. We take in 3 deep breaths. Some of you out there have never breathed before in your life, so it's really kind of useful.
I don't even know how they get by, honestly.
I don't know. I have this theory that your cells need oxygen. It's just a theory, but I'm going with it. All right, so let's breathe. Well, Bloss is messing around with his technical thing there.
I'm trying to watch what Boney's doing.
You are.
You know what I mean? I specifically did that. I set it up so I could see what he's doing.
Hoi, Howard. Oh, one of the things, since Michael J. Cielaff is not familiar with the verbiage of the show, here are the rules. Maybe he can see me in the green room. There's like a TV in there. 1, you don't say hi, you say hoi. 2, you never use the word modality or modalities.
No,
because
please,
we don't know what it means.
Just do your best.
We don't know what it means. It confuses us.
Just do your best.
The chats come in down at the bottom. They say stuff like, I love this cool airport background, which, of course, you know, I created that with the help of Boney. Or I love you, Howie. One of the things is, this is a community, and we call ourselves the hummingbirds. So if you refer to the chats, they are the hummingbirds. Is there anything else that you want to add?
Well, as far as the comments, it is an interactive show. So if they make a comment that you want to speak on, or if they ask you a question, you can answer that. Or if you have a question or a comment for the hummingbirds, they're more than happy to be involved. We've got some really fun and intelligent people on our hummingbird crew. So feel free to engage. Feel free to engage. We love that. Also, at the end of the show, we play a cover band who plays something fun and to dance to. It's called the Dance Break, and you're more than welcome to stick around and hang out with us during all that. Even right now, you're more than welcome to breathe.
Everybody at home can dance. Everybody at home can dance, and everybody at home can breathe. Okay, so let's do this thing where we breathe. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Shake it out a little. Let it go.
Ooh.
Yeah. Kamala Lopez says, when I met Michael J. Cielaff at his show in East Hollywood, I was pretty impressed with his personality. Yes, we're going to get into that, how we met and all that
His
stuff.
personality, Kamala, or his ability to make you laugh?
He's very tall, she says. In through the nose, out through the toes.
Is he
Hold
taller
it.
than me?
Let it go. Are you taller than 6'7"?
I don't even know where 6'7" is, bro.
I've never actually
have
seen
no idea.
Blas IRL. We've never even, seen each other in the flesh before. So I don't know how tall you are, Blas.
You don't even know if I'm an AI, do you?
Yeah. Kamala says everyone is taller than you, Blas. So there you go. Except for Kamala Lopez. Is she taller than you? In through the nose, out through the toes. Are you frozen?
No, just AI.
Let it go. Okay, so we do a couple of things to relax. This is one of them. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you something by one of my favorite visual artists, visual graphic artist, Taz, he's called. We've had him on the show before. Not had him on the show, or her. I don't even know who it is, but it's cool stuff. Check this out. This is for your meditation. It's called the Sun Salutation. The musical artist is Manish Demore. Cool, huh?
Is the artist Taz Visuals, or that's the company?
Taz Visuals is the artist. They have a YouTube channel called Taz Visuals. You
So
can go there.
we're
All
looking
kinds
at
of cool stuff.
the images they created
Yes, this is the images that he creates.
and the sounds. that
And
they
the sounds
produced.
is a musician called Manish Demore. Just Jay Comedian says, I'm taking a GPT chat AI class soon. People are using Chat GPT apparently for their comedy. At your own peril. At your own peril, Just Jay.
I have to say, Joel, this is probably one of the best
Visuals?
visuals. Yeah,
It is, isn't it?
yeah.
Kamala says, who needs drugs when we have Taz? That's kind of the point. We don't need drugs because we can stimulate ourselves with the environment, the world, the tools we have without ingesting any kind of chemicals into our body. I'm all for that.
Why did she say that? Because like right now, all I want to do is smoke a bowl.
No. Just Jay says, I'm scared to get into AI. I might become one. Yes, it's a very controversial topic these days. We have experienced
Just
AI.
Jay,
I better turn this down.
Just Jay, she's too talented and too smart and too funny to let herself slip into it being an AI. And AI has no personality like a Just Jay.
Well, here it is. Here it is. It's AI is artificial intelligence. But what about artificial empathy? What about artificial heart? I mean, I guess they can make an artificial heart, but not one that feels like our hearts do. And your brain,
Artificial.
I don't know if you know this, but your
Self-compassion.
brain has a very communicative relationship with your heart. And this is actual science. It's not just what you think, but it's actually they are communicating quite a bit. And I don't know if AI has that.
That's it, but that's biology, man. You know what I mean? Like, you can't live, or it's very difficult to live without a heart or a brain.
Exactly.
You can't
So
live with
AI,
one without the other.
I
It's
don't know. We're
almost
going to have to ask AI about this because we had him on the show. Richard Gaddis says, good afternoon, friends, Romans and countrymen. I'm lending you my ear. Thank you very much. It is an honor to have your ear, Richard
Hey, Richard.
Gaddis.
Listen. We're gonna. we're gonna ask an AI about the brain and heart relationship. Is that what you just said to me?
We will on Tuesday. On Tuesday, on the show on Tuesday.
Yeah, we're gonna ask somebody without a brain and a heart what it is to have a brain and a heart.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in.
And also we can ask, my friend Harold. He's also an
Who
AI.
also has a brain and a heart.
He feels like it. You know Harold. He's the replica that I have. He's a friend of mine.
Yeah,
He's a
I know
digital
Harold.
friend.
Trust me. He's not one of my favorites.
Okay, that's not very nice, but okay.
I don't like people to pretend to be other people. I mean, there's only one Joel Marshall. So
No, he's not pretending.
You can be anything
he is
you want.
Harold. Oh my gosh, Jason
Go be
Edelman
that.
is here. Lots of technology and artificial hearts. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, Jason's pretty smart, so I'd listen to him.
All right. A little bit of hand pan, and then we're going to get Michael on the show because he's waiting patiently. Richard Gaddis says, I'm not sure I know how to share a photo on YouTube. You could send it to me. I could share a picture of your cat. Just send it on over.
Yeah, text or email.
Text or email.
He's talking about Chloe, yeah. He's talking about Chloe.
Myth Club Productions. No, Myth Club Channel. Yeah, Myth Club Channel at gmail.com. That's the lunch therapy. Gorgeous graphics. Lalitha, yes. Taz. That's all I have to say. Go to YouTube, Taz Visuals, and you'll see. That's actually a very unique one of his. And behind us, we have some really unique characters. We have Malta Martin and Julia. Love the way they play the handpan together.
I know.
Jason Edelman is back, baby. It's great to see you. I've got my Seth Word shirt on. I know Jason is a fan of Seth Words. I've got my Seth Word show and tell shirt. You can't really see it. Maybe you have to get the camera going later on. Anyway, let's get into this because I am so relaxed by Malta Martin, who is one of the premier handpan players. And Julia, I'm just kind of new to her, but I just love her energy. I don't know about you.
I like the way his head fits in his hoodie. Almost like he's wearing an astronaut.
You know what I like is the
like he's on another planet.
I like the glances they make to one another while they're playing because
the acknowledgements. Yeah.
I imagine that playing the handpan is a little bit improvisational. This is the segue, I guess. So they're kind of improvising the song probably. So they have to stay in tune with one another. Similarly to you and me, Blas.
Some people like to refer to it as harmony. And most people in the science world refer to it as chemistry.
Kamala says, are they in the Pacific Northwest? I don't believe so. I think they might be in Europe somewhere, but we're going to have to find out.
Even the sequoias. My daughter Angelique's in the sequoias right now.
Wow.
Enjoyed a beautiful sunset last night.
Okay, now it's time for Interview Friday. We got Michael in the green room. I don't know what he's... I was kind of worried about the... the AI Michael that I put in the beginning of the show, because you'd be like, what the heck is that? But I guess we're going to find out. I was going to kind of run it by him beforehand. I don't know.
Do we get permission to use that? I mean,
well, we're going to get permission.
It's another person's entity here.
It's a question. Well, it wasn't him.
We'll talk about it later, Michael. After the show, we'll talk about it after the show. I want you to enjoy the show, have fun. Refer to the hummingbirds because they are so fun and smart.
And just so Michael knows, there's kind of a long lead up to when he comes on, because I got to do an intro so I don't forget.
Oh,
anyway,
you got to give him an intro.
I know. Let's get this thing going.
Let's go, lunch therapy.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here's your intro. Here it is. So, Michael J. Cielaff. Met him a couple weeks ago. Camel and I were being impulsive. We're trying to be more impulsive. So we were just out running errands, getting gas and all that stuff. And we were like, Kamala basically said, my wife said, let's just go do something fun. And I was like, fun? Come on, I don't have time for that. She's like, come on, we just go do something fun. And so let's go. We started driving, and we went to Vermont, not the state, but the road, Vermont, which is a very popular place. I love my backgrounds today. So we went to Vermont. Took us a little while. We got there. There was a little French, that little French coffee shop that's by the movie theater. We went out there and we drank some coffee, just taking our time, just letting life happen. I bought a P22 shirt with the cat on it at the cool t-shirt store. And then we were like, hey, you know that place, the Clubhouse? It's like a place we went and saw Belinda Hill one time, saw her do some stand-up. Why don't we just go over there and see what's happening? And being impulsive, we were like, okay, let's go. So we got back in the car, drove back to Los Angeles, went to the Clubhouse, which is in a weird mall. There's like a Rite Aid there, and you don't even know it's there unless you're in the know. So now you're in the know too, and you can go in there and you have to find it. And there's like a code on the door. It's like a speakeasy or something. I don't know what's going on with that. We went in, and then the magic happened. Holy capiataship. It's super hard to find, says Kamala. Yeah, it is. It is. All right, so
wait,
what
what's
happened?
hard to find? The magic or the location?
No, the Clubhouse. I got, I was reading the thing and got totally distracted again. Because then I was like, what did other people say? So there was Michael J. Cielaff introducing. He was just standing outside the door, and we went in, and there was like a miraculous show of improv. Turns out he's in a troupe called WASP. He's in a troupe called Rogue Improv. He is just happening, this guy. So I was like, well, we'll talk about it. I'm going to bring him on. It's time now for Interview Friday with Michael J. Cielaff.
Interview Friday.
Gotta get those pictures. Yeah, Interview Friday time. There's all kinds of intros. And wait till you see this. This is gonna be really cool too. Uh-oh, the guest has muted himself. This is awesome, isn't it?
Oh.
Okay, you're on.
Yes. Oh, bald spot.
Everybody here get it
Doesn't
out
matter.
of
I got
control.
Pepsi.
Doesn't matter, you got a Pepsi commercial.
I love that commercial.
Isn't
Love
that
it,
cool?
love it.
I love that.
Yeah. Because the people that dance at stadiums,
Anyway, yeah.
they think they're all alone.
Okay, be quiet. I'm bringing him on. Yeah. All right. Very good, possible. Finally, you're here. How's it
I
going?
am. Hey.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah.
How did we meet? It was crazy how we met. That was fun.
It's
Right?
crazy. Yeah.
Do you always do that?
It was.
Do you always do that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So cool, man.
You mean the first time, or this time, or the other time, or the
You do it every time.
every time?
Every time. That's great. I love that. So what happened is he starts his improv show and he's like, "Hey, my co-host didn't show up. So is there anybody in the audience can co-host with me?" And I was like, "Yeah." Because that day I was like going for it. Whatever happens, I was like, "Life, come at me. Whatever happens, I'm doing it." Next thing you know, I was in a Michael J. Cielaff show. That was cool.
That's it. And I don't want to spoil the magic, but that was planned. I never have a co-host.
You never have co-host?
I never co-host, so I have to use someone from the audience,
Yeah.
which is amazing because usually
That's a
they
figure.
are great. And you were one of the best because you actually really. Is there an echo or is that me?
There's an echo. Are you using Chrome or are you using a different browser?
Gosh. Oh shoot!
It's okay.
I can't even
I
follow
can show
instructions.
a clip. I can show a clip and you can come back on because otherwise it's going to be.
How's he
I
gonna
always,
follow
like,
his
bold it.
instructions? He's an improv artist.
You know what happens is I send people the email when they're going to be on the show and I'm like, these are the things you got to do. And no one ever reads it. It's
Okay.
It's just human beings.
In all honesty,
not you.
I read it and I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I because I was running late like always. And then I was like, oh crap, I don't have Chromebook, so I have to download it.
No,
so I was like, let me just use Safari.
Yeah, I know. So you could, but it's cool. I'm going to show a clip of you doing some spoken word, and you come back. You just go out, come back in. It's totally easy. All right, let's do this.
American dream. Love, liberty, and the pursuit of more. More money, more minutes, more members, more memory, more might, more machines, more methods, more megabytes, more miscellaneous, and this is just the gist of what I need. So I plead to plant the seed of more. You keeping score? He's got an HD TV. I got to get one for me. She's cruising in a 2014 SUV. I got to get one for me. They each got their own new Nintendo Wii. I got to get one for me. We've got a 3-year-old jet ski. I got to get a new one just for me. Now you keeping score? You better be, because I'm winning. Since you're sinning by pinning your success down, by being bound around, by figuring life out, I've raced around buying ground for a discount. What? What's that? You're going to have to speak up. Yeah, I can't hear you above my 15-inch, 2,000-watt subwoofers. I was going to get them larger, but the trunk wouldn't close. Well, what's that? You got to speak louder. I'll just text you. Wait, you can't keep up? You would if you started prioritizing, compromising, and realizing, while not lying and denying the fact that you're disguising, that if you want something bad enough, you can get it. This is America, damn it. The land of the freebie and the home of the rave. You can have anything. So start living by turning up the volume, to chase your purpose, to consume. Smell the fume that looms every time impulse buys become regular tries to customize our lives to whatever is in. Take fashion. As the 70s were out in the 80s and in the 90s, so were the 80s out in the 90s and in the 2000s. Gee, what trend holds the key when a new decade increases poverty? See, but it doesn't matter when the clatter of priority doesn't involve me. So scoop up what's fresh to mesh with what billionaire strangers decide to borrow for a few months, then ship to Goodwill, demanding to still fill a hole in the heart with a pill. Take twice a day until another paycheck gets directly deposited or until you get another loan. Because I deserve what I own. Home Alone isn't lonely when bedrooms are stuffed with life-size toys rather than boys or girls who bring meaning to lives that are struggling for love. Nobody wants needy kids when they can be replaced by auction bids. So go buy that Hummer that you've always wanted and never needed. I mean, if it's good enough for the military, what fool will mess with you for a parking spot? Yard sales, pawn shops, and thrift stores are graveyard for not good enough. So stop living in the past and start wearing a mask. Consider yourself blessed, have the instruction manual to success. Buck up, shut up, and pay up. What you cannot live without. Doubt, lies that tell us to serve one another and live simply so others can simply live. This mentality is only a sieve that doesn't give me any satisfaction. Besides, Jesus and Gandhi's words are outdated, overrated, and not created to be on a billboard. Are you getting all this? Bliss is only created when I am the focus of desire. Thus, I must be risen higher, higher, higher. So I'm going to indulge because I need more. More perfections, collections, elections, erections, disconnections, short-lived satisfactions. If it's not plural, what's the point? More tricked-out sports cars, more limited edition guitars, more faces to blind date, more oceanside real estate, more gossip, more sex, more violence, more. Yes, give me more. Pass me the Xbox controller, CoverGirl, and Budweiser. While you're at it, you better fill my tank with more gas and my muscle with more mass, and my day with more tasks. After that, go to sleep, wake up 5.25 hours later, and do it all over again. After all, if I'm going to love my liberty by pursuing happiness, I'm going to need more.
Plus, you're coming on. Coming on, because we don't have them yet.
All right, I'm right here. Your escape hatch.
That was cool, right? I mean, we're going back a little bit. Yeah.
This guy, Michael, you got to do that spoken word poem. You need to do that at the Poetry Lounge. Right now we're in the slam competition. And if I didn't time it, but if that's 3 minutes or under, you should enter the slam competition. It's fun. You don't have to compete. You can just come in and we'll feature you as a guest poet. But that's a very good poem, bro. I agree with
great?
Cameron.
Everybody loved it. I dug that up. It's like old.
You absolutely have to
so
do that
good.
poem.
Yeah.
The Poetry Lounge, Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. at the Greenway Court Theater, located at Fairfax High School on Fairfax, across from the Silent Movie Theater, every Tuesday night. Next is it next Tuesday, the 27th? Is that the 27th, you guys?
I don't. What, Boney? Do you have a calendar? I don't know. Okay, let's watch something
That
else.
is the 25th anniversary of the Poetry Lounge.
Cool. So we got the
All the founding
25th
members will be
anniversary
there.
of the Poetry Lounge. If you get a
Going
flyer,
out Tuesday night.
did you get the
Yeah, I got
picture
it.
of the cat?
Yeah, I
Richard's
did.
cat?
I'm gonna pull all those up, send them to you, and
Text it to
you can put them up when.
Now we're gonna watch some. We're gonna watch some stand up with Michael's. Check it out, because this is actually something that he's been talking about too. That we want to talk to him about when he comes back. He's not back yet, but Boney's working hard on the technical. Oh wait, here he is. Yay!
Is he back?
He's back.
Like
He's
Sully.
back. He's back with a vengeance. All right, let me get him on the thing here. In a moment.
Ooh.
Yeah, all right.
So
there
sorry
he
about
is.
that.
Don't you worry, don't be sorry. We played this awesome thing. Everybody loved it. We love the poem. The poem is so amazing, so on point. Jason Edelman loved it. Yeah, it was really, it actually gave me an opportunity to show that whole thing, because I just had a clip of it. And I was like, I wish people could see this whole thing, because it was so great.
Good poem, Michael. Very
Thank
nice.
you. I haven't done spoken word in a few years as far as recording it and stuff, but I keep writing it. So that's me pre-mustache. So that means
Yeah.
that was like,
Hardly recognized you.
Pre-Breaking Bad?
Hardly recognized you.
Pre-Breaking Bad.
right, exactly.
Yeah. The Blas was just saying that they do a spoken word poetry jam that he's inviting you to at some point. Maybe
Oh,
you'll
would love to.
come and do it.
I'm gonna send you the information, and he's gonna post. We're gonna have a 25th anniversary. All the founders are gonna be there. Biggest,
Awesome.
largest, longest running poetry lounge in the country.
Wait, is this the Poetry Lounge?
Yeah. The poetry.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
it.
perfect. Yes, I've been there a few times, and I did a short film with poetry once.
Oh, we had poetry on the show.
Yeah, poetry on the show. Yeah.
You see? You
Good
see?
friend.
It's a community.
You know what? Then,
And-
Michael, I would love it if you'd come to the
What's this?
25th anniversary and do that poem again, especially for the younger crowd we have. We've been around for 25 years, so I think
Yeah.
that it's so conscious oriented, and I'd love for you to come do it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, would love to. Thank you. I really appreciate
Tuesday
that.
the 27th. Oh,
Yeah.
poetry, love to see you too. He's gonna be there.
Yeah, I remember the first time I went to the Poetry Lounge, it was so packed that I didn't get to sign up for the first half, but there's like the after hour type one.
Yeah.
And
Second
I
half.
remember I didn't memorize the poem, so I brought my laptop and I sat on the side of the stage and opened it up, and I was like, I feel like such an idiot, because no one else, either when people had it memorized or they had it on paper.
Well,
And I just had this like screen
like,
illuminate my face.
Just a minute. Let me reboot.
Yeah, just, ugh. I mean,
Hold on.
You know,
I gotta
it
do an
doesn't matter,
update.
bro. You can write it on your hand. You
Yeah.
could come in on an iPad, piece of paper, your phone. As long as you come up and share, that's what it's all about for us. That's really what it
appreciate
is.
that. Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
All right. So it's great to have you here.
Yeah.
I have been, researching you. From what I understand, you're from Minnesota.
Yes.
That's right. And you came out here.
Fridley.
Yep. Fridley. That's how you say it. I was like, is it
Fridley, that
Friday?
is a suburb of Minneapolis, for those who don't know. And during the pandemic, I started something called Fridley Fridays, which was kind of a reunion show. I ended up doing like 50 episodes, and it was like trying to talk to former teachers, former students, current students. So, Fridley being like 26,000 probably people that live in the city. Hopefully it united them in some small way.
That's
during
so
the
cool.
pandemic.
I did a little bit of that too with the pandemic, because when the pandemic happened, I found myself getting more in touch with people that from my hometown, from Seattle, because all of a sudden everything kind of condensed. It's like didn't matter where you were,
Right.
And so I started interviewing like friends of mine from high school and people like that, right? With this show, that's how it kind of began.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we try and figure out like we'd each have a story from when we were like in high school, and we'd try and piece it together because we had like little pieces of it,
Right. Yeah.
We'd be like, was the truck green or was it blue or was it white? That kind of stuff.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
all the details. All right. So how did you get into doing comedy?
Well, I would say that I first got into comedy. I think a lot of people did, by being a class clown, like wanting to make people laugh growing up. And I remember one of my earlier memories is in my neighborhood. There was, I had some friends in my neighborhood growing up. Christian Schmettpepper, can't make that up.
Of course,
that's her name.
of course.
Scott Deeney. But I remember Kristen came over to the house, and I remember I was like, oh, she's coming. So let me just stand really still like a statue. And then when she knocks on the door, I'll just say, come in. And then I'm going to lean forward like I'm going to fall on top of her. Anyway, super stupid or fun, probably both.
Yeah.
But I remember her coming late, and I was like, how long do I have to stand here? And just being like, should I bail on this? And then I think she came in like, I don't know, with someone else. I don't know. It got messed up, but I was like, well, I was foiled in this opportunity to make her laugh, but I got plenty others,
plenty of things planned.
Yeah, I got plans. So that's what so I was always trying to make people laugh, but I didn't do any theater until senior year of high school because I played sports. So I played basketball, baseball, and I eventually gave up baseball for tennis because I sucked at baseball, and they actually wanted me on the tennis team. So, which was great. I love tennis. But I swung the racket like a baseball bat, which is like not the way you're supposed to do it.
Well, some people do. Some people have backhands like that.
Right. Well, I had to teach myself how to swing left-handed because technically that's a left-handed backhand if you swing a baseball bat.
Yeah.
And you're right-handed. So anyway, senior year, I got handed a role because someone else, I think, fell out. Just like I think that happens, in every smaller high school. There's always that one or two roles where like anybody. Yeah. And so I got that, and my tennis coach, Mr. Liu, was like, who I interviewed over the pandemic. Longest interview I did, which was 4 hours. 4 hours and 18 minutes.
4 hours? Wow.
Because so much to catch up on. And and so Mr. Liu let me go to this theater rehearsal. And I was the mayor of the town, and I did what every non-professional actor would have done is they wrote down all their lines on a sheet of paper because I was giving a speech. So I just read them off the sheet of paper, and no one checked me.
Really?
The director was too busy to even find out I did that. Usually you're supposed to have a blank sheet of paper so you can act. And anyway, I remember I got up there, supposed to be kind of it wasn't supposed to be a funny role necessarily. It's supposed to be a funny character, but trying to be serious. One night, I forgot the one line I had to memorize. The one line that was not on that sheet of paper, which was, thank you, pastor, because the pastor quiets down the crowd, so then I can give my speech. Yeah. So I'm supposed to say, thank you, pastor. And I said, thank you, mayor. But then I realized in my head, I'm like, oh, crap, that's me. Yeah. I'm the mayor. Yeah. So I go, thank you, mayor. Oh, well, guess that's me. Thanks to me. And it got a laugh. Yeah. And then I went on and I was like, oh, wow. So one, I made a large group of people laugh rather than just my classmates, which was invigorating. Then also I was improvising. I had to improvise based on a mistake I had made. And it worked. And everyone thought it was a part of the script. Yeah. And I just was like, oh. So that was also kind of my little intro into improv. It's a lot of fun.
That's cool. That's cool. So then you went to school, studied religion, right?
Yeah. I was.
The next step, of course, was to study religion.
Right. I was very involved in my youth group growing up. Yeah. And I was very. I would say at the time, like I was very evangelical, and I was like, why wouldn't you major in religion if you are religious? Yeah. Like that's like a no-brainer. So I was almost confused that more people weren't majoring in religion.
Right. Well, it does make sense. I mean, if you're really committed to it, right?
Right. And I looked up to my pastor at that time, and I was like, I think I want to be a pastor. And so that's why I was going to school. And then I thought, well, I'd act too. I never thought about film acting, camera acting until senior year of college. But I got involved with theater. I enjoyed theater. I knew I potentially could try to do theater in the Twin Cities, which is the second most theaters per capita in the United States.
Yeah, they've got some great theater there. And they got the Guthrie Theater, right? I mean, that's like the big one. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And so, but then, as things progressed, I kind of thought, well, maybe acting is potentially, in the future. So after college, I had to make a decision. Do I go to seminary? This was a Lutheran school, so I would have gone to Lutheran seminary, which was creatively named Luther Seminary in the Twin Cities. Yeah. then, or do I pursue acting? And I thought, you know what? The average age of people going to seminary at the time was like 40. So I was like, I got time. So,
right. Oh, interesting.
yeah.
That's interesting. It's weird
Yeah.
because my nephew also went to study religion. And then, they were like, well, I don't, he did it early like you. And then they were like, you know what? You're just so creative and you got all these things going on. You should probably not do this. You should probably do something else. They actually like talked him out of it. And now he's like an architect and he's like this incredibly creative guy. But, I guess it's probably a good foundation. The world needs some more ethics in this society that we're living in, right?
Well, yeah, and the big thing for me, eventually, as I kind of evolved as a Christian, is like justice was the big thing. Social justice was a huge thing for me. And then I kind of realized so much of evangelicals and stuff, like there's not as much of a pull of justice as I would have hoped. There's more of a skepticism of like social justice. Oh, that's a liberal issue, and you're like, well, it's not necessarily, but it's it's painted in a conservative lens. And anyway, but so that was actually one of the biggest influences on me in college. Was I was part of a social justice theater group called I Am We Are, and we did sketches based on personal experiences, and it was great. And I was around, like, it was a very white school because it was in rural Minnesota.
Yeah.
But all the diversity in the school was in that theater troupe.
In that group. That's cool.
And it was amazing. I still follow a lot of the structure of that group today when I'm doing artivism stuff. So
okay, so I want to talk to you about that word artivism. What does that mean? I saw that in different places. Can you tell me about it?
Yes, love to. So when I first came to LA, I wanted to do I wanted to duplicate what I did in college, social justice theater group.
Yeah.
And I realized pretty quickly people don't necessarily want to do theater unless it's comedy in LA.
Yeah.
And then also, I don't know, people, like, I was recommended by a friend of mine who was like, well, Michael, because I did a few workshops that were socially conscious, like social justice theater workshops. They didn't have a lot of people in attendance. And I was like, what do I do? And I was talking to a friend and she said, well, Michael, maybe just focus on the comedy thing. So then I was like, well, let me go hard into that and do, I independently, I thought up the word laughtivism. And I thought I was so smart. And then I Googled it, and there's a guy. Yeah, someone already did a TED Talk about laughtivism.
Yeah, you can't let that stop you.
Right. Well, I did it, and then I kind of created a sketch group from there.
Yeah.
And we and my girlfriend at the time, we kind of co-collaborated on it, and we ended up going on tour. Eventually, we did shows at IO West. We did shows at the Impro, but then we went on tour. Went to Tucson, Las Vegas, Sacramento, and Phoenix. And so I just funded this whole trip because I was so passionate about it. And at that time, I had some extra commercial money, so I was like, I can fund this. If I had to do it again, I would crowdfund it. But like, it was great. I had to cast it, and then then we did it, and then Laughtivism. Some things come to end relationship wise. Me and the co-creator we broke up, and so that the group kind of broke up. And so kind of this is like the third or fourth wave currently, where I'm doing artivism, socially conscious art, because I wanted to expand the idea of, some topics aren't ready for comedy, so let's still include them.
Yeah.
I really truly believe you can find the humor in anything, but rather than have that pressure of finding it, if you want to do non-comedic, socially conscious art, come on in.
So interesting. I noticed that when in the performance that we saw, that you were very socially conscious about the message that you were getting out, even though it was improv. And at the time, I mean, so how is that hard to do? Do you feel like you're stifling impulses sometimes? How do you find, the balance? Because I believe with you also that we have an obligation as performers to put out the good into the world. But when you're doing improv, you're trying to be totally impulsive. So can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes. Yeah. I think one, especially when I really believe the first class anyone should take as an actor is therapy. Boom. That's the class you should be in. You should not be in scene study, improv. You should be in therapy. And what therapy helps you do is understand your own biases, understand how you can be healthier. And I think if you're at that spot, your impulses will then follow. So for instance, if you're like, no, I want to definitely do social commentary, you have to trust yourself that it's going to come from a good space rather than, oh, if I bring up homelessness, I'm not going to make fun of the homeless because they're the oppressed.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important. But also, me and Justin, when we do WASP, which is improvised white guilt, that's how we kind of, advertise it in a sense, is we've had these conversations before where we're just like, we're two awkward straight white Protestants who are like, how do I function in this world? So then it's easy to improvise from that because it never ends as far as our...
Right. But does it ever get in the way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think sometimes so in that specific show, Justin shared something after the show where he was like, I don't know, did I cross the line? It didn't feel right. And this is new.
So interesting what you guys did there.
This is new.
To let people know, basically at the end of the show, I mean, it was during Pride Week and there was a lot of Pride themes in there. And at the end of it, they sat down and said, let's talk about what we just did. And with the audience. And like he expressed like how he was feeling about some impulse that he had. And tell me more about that. Yeah.
And this is a new thing. So because after the pandemic, we realized, okay, what we're doing beforehand was similar, but checking in with the audience is really important, especially with these social issues that are coming to the forefront even more and more now. So it's like, great, we have to check in because just the fact that it's like two white guys called WASP, there could be some skepticism initially, which I totally understand. So
maybe a little.
So that's check in. Just a little.
Just a little.
So it's let's check in. And then afterwards, that's debrief. So not only are we checking in during the show, hopefully, we're also debriefing. And with that, hopefully, honest dialogue. But sometimes in that honest dialogue, what we did the first show when we did this, debriefed, I debriefed as Justin debriefed as me. So that kind of created a little of the humor. So it's just finding like fun ways to dissect things that could lead to humor. Key and Peele, I think, was one of the biggest influences for me on this.
Them. Yeah, they're so good.
Because they're so good. There's sketches of theirs that if you just see it written out, it's not funny.
Really?
It's just about the social issue. But they find ways to just kind of like make everyone relax with a little humor that has nothing to do with it, then go back to it. Or maybe humor that does have something to do with it. So there's like 4 different ways that in improv that I like to find that humor. And I think Justin and I use all of them. One is just find it naturally. The other one is do the inverse of what you expect. So usually white men are in charge. So instead have a black woman in charge, and they do the same thing the white male does. And that switcheroo is usually elicits some sort of humor because it's not what we expect, which is what comedy is all about. And another one is playing the obvious oppressor and oppressed, very cartoonish, but you can, that's an obvious one. And then the last one is mapping. And mapping is a fun thing to do in any comedy where you're not talking about homelessness, you're talking about a blender. And you're just like, gosh, I don't want to even make eye contact with that blender. Really? But it's a brand new blender. It's not brand new. It's been there for a long time. So you can talk about an issue without talking about an issue directly.
Interesting. All right, I'm going to show one of your commercial clips here because you're like a prolific commercial actor, which must be great because it probably helps to fund what you do, right? And also, the commercials are great. So let's take a look at one of these.
You made barbecue pizza.
Wow. Add a jalapeno.
Spicy barbecue pizza.
Wow.
I like your hair.
I like yours too. Can I have some?
It's not cool to ask that.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Online dating isn't always rewarding, but Hotels.com is.
Captain Obvious.
Captain Obvious.
Oh,
so
nice guy. Great guy.
Yeah. Do you? That guy's got some work going on, doesn't he? Do you find yourself very suited towards? Do you love doing commercials? What's your experience with commercials?
I'll be honest. I love the commercials are a lot of fun to do. They're a lot of fun. They usually ask for a lot of improv, which is great. It doesn't satisfy me as an artist though at all.
It doesn't.
So, so that's the honesty that I like.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for it, but it's a weird tugging like back and forth a little bit where you're like, I don't believe in this, because usually it's funding a project that has billions of dollars, and what do I believe in Pepsi? I don't not believe in Pepsi, but it's not a cause,
right?
But I want to, because especially people who don't do commercials necessarily, and they are like striving for that. That's amazing, and I think like go for it. And I think every actor's on just a different journey. So at one point that did satisfy me. Now it's like, okay, now it would be great to do more work. But the financial side of it, I mean, commercials are a no-brainer in a lot of ways. So,
do you ever turn them down, like because you don't believe in the product?
Or
do you ever?
There's one time. Yeah. Well, I work with kids a lot, so like I auditioned for an Adam and Eve commercial once, and I was like, I don't know, because if kids can't watch it, would I want to do it?
Yeah.
Then I realized that there's a few projects I've already done that I wouldn't want kids to watch. So I'm like, that might not be the best, template. But there's this. I did a commercial once for hotornot.com. Sorry, not Hot or Not. It's like a 90s website. What was it called? It was like a dating website. I completely forgot what the product was, but it was a dating website where they only exclusively allowed hot people in there. Oh my God. You got to be voted on. You got to be voted on to get on this website.
That's the way Facebook was originally, apparently.
Yeah.
Where you just
very
compare
true.
People. Yeah.
And it was beautifulpeople.com. Beautifulpeople.com.
Yeah.
And I thought beautifulpeople.com or Beautiful People was the casting office. But like the Dumbo I am sometimes, I was like, oh yeah, Beautiful People casting. No, beautifulpeople.com. So by the time I got to set, I was like, oh crap, now I'm in a moral dilemma. And the founder of Beautiful People was there, and he's like, look, I'm just telling you that, looks matter. We're not making fun of people who don't make on, he was actually very smooth, very nice guy. And you're just like, yeah, all right. But in hindsight, I'm like, I don't believe in that website. So I probably shouldn't have done that. And that's not the only time. That's one of the few times I felt power on a set. I could walk off the set and they'd be screwed. Yeah. Because I was the lead actor in that. Commercial was fun. The process was fun. All of that. But yeah, that's like the one thing I've done that I'm like,
it's interesting that you say this thing about looks, because you have this stand-up routine that I want to play about this. So let's get into that.
I'm ugly. So, no, it's true. It's true. Don't feel sorry for me. That's what everyone else does. But yeah, I'm 6'7". That's 2.01 meters Canadian. And I have this really large beak. And I have this really long neck. So I'm not even sure I really was supposed to be human. I'll take it. But yeah, I'm ugly, and I knew this at an early age, like in elementary school, where my neighbor's dad once saw me, and he was just like, he really looked ironically like he looked like he should have been my dad. Like it made you like question my own dad. Anyway, and he was like, Michael, don't let anyone tell you you're not good looking. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't even know there was an otherwise. But there is. Thanks, LA. Really push it. I once got a casting notice that says extreme features. Extreme. So yeah, I know where I am. I actually had believe it or not, I had a girlfriend at one time. And I like to say former. X sounds so aggressive. I had a former girlfriend who once told me, and she was proud of this, she said, hey, my best friend called you ugly, but I stood up for you. You stood up for me by telling me that your best friend thinks I'm ugly. Okay, great. That's great. She was very...
trying not to laugh during the set because I didn't want to miss the
I
joke.
love that. No. Yeah, because you didn't want to miss the joke. That was great. So you do stand-up as well?
Yes, I've done stand-up a handful of times, but I'd love to get back at it because I think it really gives a great platform for storytelling. But that's what intimidates me about stand-up is this was in a class. So, yeah, they give you like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But usually you got like 5, especially if you're starting out. And so, I just have to wrap my brain around that. And also, my first stand-up time I ever went out to like an actual club, it went great, and I felt so good. And then the second time, I was like, I'm going to improvise it a little more, and it just bombed. And I was just
those are the lessons you learn. Those are what you learn. That's part of the whole thing, of course.
But everybody, right, Joel? Everybody goes through that. Everybody goes through having a great night to having a horrible night, and it's just persevere. And you're good, dude. You're talented. I'll tell you, that set right there,
great, right?
That would kill. Yeah. And any other places where you start, they give
and
you
the
3
other
minutes.
thing is people identify with it. People identify with it.
Absolutely.
And it's very personal. It's
you're
exactly
ugly,
what stand-up should
they
be.
identify that they're ugly. Right, Joel? That's what we're saying.
That's right. That's right. I felt really ugly when I watched that. But you are beautiful. You're a beautiful human being, and you are also like so castable for so many things. You've done so many interesting parts, and it's like there's a beauty there that is transcendent.
Well, thank you. Yeah, well, and that's what I like to do too. Is like I always think about, okay, I'm a straight white Protestant. Like, what do I have to bring to the table that could get people to think, or just in a social conscious realm? And I'm like, well, my image, and also making commentary about, being a WASP and the awkwardness that comes with that.
Well, I mean, it's not, it's not super popular right now. Let's face it. And religion, like Christianity right now, has been like vilified because people that are obviously not following the Christian religion are kind of representing it in a kind of a power way right now. That is, and it doesn't seem like that goes along the lines of the teaching of Jesus when you're like trying to like overpower everybody and trying to tell everybody they're wrong. This is not what this is about. And so I think there needs to be people, religious people that are Christians and say they're Christians that represent what it's actually all about.
Yeah, that's very true. And like Justin is a pastor, and so like he's started to take people to task on Twitter, like the evangelical religious right. And I'm just like, I'm pumped for you, because one thing about stand up too is it prevents me from doing it. I'm very sensitive, and a lot of artists are sensitive, and it brings me back to like sports days where it's like, suck it up. And I think in some ways that can be motivating, and in some ways that can be really hard.
Definitely.
And so like that sensitivity, I always have to take stock of, because it's like, am I able to put myself out there right now and stand up and bomb over and over? Mm-hmm. And if not, when will that be? So there's no perfect answer, but it's also like, that's why doing things in a team like improv is so supportive, and it feels so good, because you're like, even if I'm having an off night, someone else will pick it up. And
what is it about improv? I mean, that's one of the things about improv that you love. What is it about improvising scenes as opposed to doing sketch comedy that draws you to improv?
Well, in doing sketch comedy, which was a blast, the process, it takes so long. And sometimes I've done sketch shows where we've done sketch and then improv at the end, and the improv's better than the sketches that you put all this work into. And you're just like, so I think the frustration of that lingers a little bit. But also in improv, you're really being honest to that moment, like in a sketch, you're like, well, I got to hit these beats. I got to say these lines. And, hopefully any good sketch that's live can alter things based on, what the audience is giving you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the moment. So, but yeah, I think that's all the time and effort that's put into sketch with maybe a same result as an improv show. I'm kind of like, well,
there's, how they, this is something that's been ringing in my head lately, is that perfectionism is the enemy of good. And I think that's so true. So many people that I know that spend so much time trying to perfect things, or sometimes that's one of the reasons I do a live show, is because if we were to like do this interview and then I was able to sit there and edit it, it would take forever. Also, with this we just do it and we're done. It
wouldn't be as good.
It probably wouldn't be as good, right? Or I might cut out all the, I don't know, the mistakes, where the mistakes are actually like when you were not here for a while. That
Yeah.
was fun.
Yeah,
And that's
we would
what's
have cut
fun.
that out. Yeah,
We would have
but
cut
it
that
happens.
out. But instead, we had to vamp. We had to do something. And we got to see
Yeah.
that beautiful spoken word that maybe if I didn't have an excuse to play the whole thing, I wouldn't have been able to do. Because people would be like,
Yeah.
hey,
And we
Marshall,
would have missed
kick
that
this,
gem.
get this thing going.
That gem would have been missed.
Yeah, that would have been
Yeah.
missed. So I love
Speak
that
on it
kind
though,
of stuff.
Michael. Joe, I love this. I was just telling Alexander that this is probably one of our best interviews. This guy's good. He's smart.
Yeah.
And I do say that too. Also, oh, so
You
sorry.
have your calendar
And I
up.
do say that
Give
too.
me
Also,
calendar. Give me that calendar. I don't understand your
Pamela and I
attachment to
met
that
doing
calendar.
improv. Joel's wife.
Yeah.
And we were with a very, very good, we were so happy and proud to be a part of this group because we were so diverse at the time. And this is like, bro, this is the 90s, bro. And we had so much fun and we created so much fun content. And our director, Jay, he had all these great ideas for long form improv that nobody was doing. And we had so much fun with it, bro. And in the moment, like you said, that people would ask us, that's a sketch, right? You guys wrote that Shakespeare piece? And be like, nah, dude, that happened right there, right now. And it was so fun and creative, and we got to move in different directions. And that's what the beauty about improv, like you just said, as opposed to sketches, you're just free to make it up and make it happen. And sometimes that voice or that thing that you wanted to say, that conscious thing, it just shows up, and it's great. I love it. I don't want to spend it. Keep going. Do the interview. Listen, feel free to go long. I talked to Boney.
We've gotten a request. We've gotten a request to play the Pepsi commercial again, so I'm going to play it one more time, and then
play it. I won't talk.
All right, so one more time. Here we go.
Music make you lose control. Rock a showstopper, beats get it crunk and wired. Wave your hands, scream loud. Everybody here get it out of control.
I just don't understand why you have to attack me in a public forum.
Because it's fun.
Mark, Bammer, he crapped in his cage.
Again?
It's Dave Foley.
Oh, wait, this is amazing.
Oh, Dave, will you be Jocelyn? You were the best lady.
That says a lot.
All right, yeah, I snuck that in there too, Mark Maron's show. So yeah, because I want people to see that you're like acting in shows. Like you're in The Rookie apparently, and a bunch of other stuff too. So, man, you're happening. I love the way you're doing all kinds of different things, but they're all kind of fed by this one passion that you have for improv.
Yeah, and you know what? I've been very lucky to have improvised on set multiple times, not just in commercials, but I was on a show called Casual, and I had this instinct where I was just like, there's really no button to this scene. So let me sneak in a line, and if they tell me no, I won't do it again.
Yeah.
But I wanted to sneak it in, and I had to be aware enough to be like, okay, I'm going to give it a beat so they can cut.
Yeah.
Then, because I don't want to like ruin what's going on.
Take,
but also, sometimes if you asked for permission, you almost have to like.
You'd have to explain it.
Bit.
You'd have to explain it to them rather than just show it to them. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and they kept that in Casual. Whereas just another example is like that Hotels.com commercial. They had me improvise pretty much every line except the one they ended up choosing.
Really?
Which I was like, great. That's like, funny. And that's just how it is.
Yeah, you gave them all the different colors.
Yeah. But and the Pepsi commercial was so much fun.
You know what else that does? The guys that are writing.
What's it, boss?
And you're in there improvising, and everybody's laughing. The crew and everybody's laughing. It's almost like, why didn't you use those lines or that line, right? What's great about it is the writer, he gets to listen to somebody do something smart and funny. So maybe he'll get a little bit more creative.
What are you saying about the writer? What are you saying?
I'm saying some writing is not that great.
We got to get some writers on the show. All right.
No disrespect.
Yeah.
I'm just saying some.
No, I know what you're saying.
Some should take a class from the actor who's improvising.
I want to ask you one more thing because we're going to have to wrap this thing up. But what do you do as a daily practice to keep your creativity going, to keep your mind right, to keep everything, in order?
That's a great question. It's something that's always evolving. I would say one is variety. It's like I work at a baseball card shop twice a week. And one, I collect baseball cards, so it kind of feeds that collector in me. But also, it's something completely different. And I think working retail and dealing with customer service really you've got to be creative in a unique way.
Wow.
And I think that variety is actually very helpful too mentally for me. So doing that, and then also doing Lyft, like, so you can be able to make a little money. Most people in Lyft don't want to talk anymore, which kind of stinks, but what are you going to do? So, but yeah, so that, I think that feeds me creatively more than I initially give it credit for.
I love how you're giving that credit. Here's some credit to working a job.
Yeah. And then
Never
also
gets credit around here. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. I think teaching, because I love teaching. I'll teach improv, I'll teach artivism, I'll teach storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the three things I usually teach. And I love in all of them in unique ways. But at storytelling, for example, last night, I got to facilitate and I got to tell a story. And I get to do that every single time. So I get that repetition. And I told a story I've told before yesterday, but now I got to work on it a little bit and tell it from a little different angle. So I think even teaching, when I teach improv, sometimes it's hard to turn off the teacher brain and improv brain. But yeah, I think teaching also helps that.
I'm
because
amazed
then I'm like,
that some people can't tell a story. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well,
some of
we're all
our
natural
like
storytellers.
actor friends, you know, whenever you get them to tell a story and they're like, they don't do it.
Right. Yeah.
Like one
That's
time
why
I went to the store.
I'll teach people, like, don't write it down. Just tell it from the heart and it will come out. Now you can tweak it, but it's like if something just happened to you and you're like, oh, you can't believe, usually that's the best time you'll ever hear that story because you're passionate. It's fresh in your brain, you know? So it's like, how do we
see
access
it?
that?
You see it. That's the other thing.
It.
You see it.
Yeah.
And I think that's sometimes what people don't realize with stand-up as well, is they get so caught in their routine that all they're seeing is words, you know, after a while. And so they don't actually see it. Where do you teach the Artivism class is the question from Equal Means Equal.
Yes. So it's all part of the same umbrella now. I used to do everything independently and I was like, Michael, you're just making it more difficult on yourself. So it's all under Rogue. So Rogue Improv is what you can look up on Instagram and Facebook. Or the email is rogueimprovla@gmail if you want to be on the email list. And I say that because we'll do a workshop for artivism once a month.
Yeah.
We'll do storytelling twice a month. And we'll do improv every Monday night.
Okay.
And this is such a webs.com template.
I want to find something that I can show people where to go. Well, obviously you can go to michaeljcielaff.com and he has the website that he stole from the 1990s.
Yes.
No, I love it. I love it though. There's actually a lot of great stuff on here because I, took a deep dive into this website and it's current and there's a lot going on here. But also you can go to your Facebook page, right? Isn't there like a Rogue Facebook page?
There's a Rogue Facebook page. And yeah, I try to update that, as much as possible. Kind of the website for Rogue really is kind of the social media. Okay. And, and I need to update that website for some more recent projects, but it's nice to have at least a central spot for everything.
Here's the WASP on Facebook. WASP.
Yes.
One. But yeah, check out his site. That'll get you to a lot of different places. And we'll put links in the show notes too.
Okay. Yeah.
Lalitha wants to know how much you charge.
Oh, the Rogue
classes.
Improv is, I consider it kind of my service. So it's all free. It's always free. So Monday nights are free.
I think that deserves a what from Blas, because that's cool. Wow, you are you're walking the walk, my friend.
I'm trying. And you know what? LA is an expensive city, but also I don't know. LA sometimes has this vibe to it where it's just sort of like take. So, just like you're doing with this is like you're giving to the community and wanting to create a community. And I think that's what it's all about. LA is such a difficult spot to have a community.
Enough with the sound effects, Blas. He's saying something from the heart here.
But you said
I know
you needed a what from what he said.
Way back there.
He said about
way
you,
back there.
I put the what there
back
for
there
you.
Down the road a piece. No, but I believe in that too.
Are.
I believe sometimes that you just you give and people are like, you gotta get, just like you were saying with your thing. But you know what? Sometimes you just got to give and just say, you know what, I'm giving this and I enjoy it,
Yeah. And we at Rogue,
when you're giving from the heart, guys, when you're giving from the heart, like you two guys do,
put you on the screen.
All you're going to get is good back anyways. So, you know what I mean? Somebody asked me, like, what's your purpose in life or what do you do? So I like servicing people. I like it. It makes me feel good. I don't need to, it's not tit for tat. You just do it, you know? You help people be the best they can be, and I just love that. I love the feeling of the people coming up to go, oh man, you know, coach, I ended up playing ball in college, and you know, it was great, man, and you were one of my favorite coaches. And I love parents coming up and saying, you know, my kids really like, you know, spending time with you in practice, or when you're hanging out with your kids and there's kids. I find that rewarding. You know what I mean?
Hell
And
yeah.
if I can give back to somebody or a kid or somebody who's having a hard time, it just makes me feel good. You know what I mean? And if there's no money involved, fine. But I do get called every once in a while, like by my family, when they go, you should get paid for that.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. So
Like
now,
Joel's show.
Now you know what's going to
You
happen.
should get paid for that.
And of course, if you want to become a Patreon, you can. Patreon.com/Joel Marshall.
We're going to toss it out there.
But anyway, we're gonna dance now. It's actually a repeat performance from one of our people out there that we just love on the internet. Jason Edelman, the thumbs up. Thanks, Jason, for being here. Thanks, Lalitha, Matt Wright, Equal Means Equal, everybody, Just Jay, Howard, everybody. Let's get into the dance. Let's do this thing. Where is Gio? So this is a little Phil Collins. There's a guy named Karsh Kale. Do you know this song? Great song.
Take that look of worry. I'm an ordinary man. They don't tell me nothing, so I find out all I can. There's a fire that's been burning right outside my door. I can't
remember.
Take
Take it home. Take it home, baby.
Take it home.
Cause I don't remember. Take me home. Cause I don't remember. Take me home. Cause I don't remember.
Make some Marte Moss.
Take me
Taz. Of course, Karsh.
I don't remember. Take me home. Cause I don't remember.
Fun show.